before I open these doors, you're gonna get a sneak peek at the vehicle I'm working on right now. Nothing to do with bananas, nothing to do with food, even. It is a Dieselpunk vehicle. If you know what steampunk is, it's Victorian science fiction, and that is by far the more well-known. Well, my vehicle is Dieselpunk, which is that 1930s Art Deco, 1940s streamlined science fiction. And this is the story, if you've got a minute. In the late 1930s, the American government, seeing that Europe was already at war, figured, even though they passed a series of neutrality acts saying that they weren't going to get involved, they knew they were going to get involved. And so they started casting around for any project that people were working on in academia or industry. And they found the work of Dr. William Starfield, and he was working on this. It's the Starfield Dragonwing Intergalactic Speedster. And it was equipped with the Starfield hyperdrive engine. Okay, I'm pushing open this other door now. And he actually ended up building a fleet of almost 50 similar vehicles. They all left Earth in the summer of 1942 and were never heard from again. Well, one of them, on June 9th, 1952, crash-landed back on Earth. It hit in Abbey, Canada, skipped over the Great Lakes, and came to rest in a farmer's field outside Adrian, Michigan. The farmer started using it to plow his bottom 40. It used to take him, his tractor had broken down, and it used to take him 6 hours to plow, but in the Starfield Speedster, he could do it in 10 minutes. Some government men come around asking questions. It kind of spooked him, so he hid it in a barn. He died shortly after, and it got completely forgotten about. It's going to be a reverse trike, so there'll be the two front wheels here. The donor vehicle is a Chevy Cobalt. This will be the pilot's area, pilot's cockpit. So this is the view from the pilot's cockpit, and then behind him will be the co-pilot, and then back here will be one rear wheel. So the reverse trike. The Starfield Dragonwing Intergalactic Speedster. I can't draw very well, so I made a model of it, which is this. This is kind of what it's going to look like. If you can picture that made out of aluminium, be just like this. I want it to look like it was built by Rosie the Riveter in the 1940s. I've done some nose art that will go on the side panels there when they're attached. I don't want you to be able to see the wheels. I want it to look like it's floating when it comes down the road. It's actually more deco-punk than diesel-punk. But this is the workshop. There is the barn back there, which is all storage. A lot of stuff. And this front third is my area. So on the left-hand side here, this is my metal area. This is where I'll be doing all the metal work. Some lovely old vintage tools. This is my Pexto workstation for my Pexto bead rollers. And this I absolutely love. This is a vintage planishing hammer, a Chicago pneumatic planishing hammer from like the 1940s. That was probably used as part of the war effort. My old Pexto stomp shear. Walker Turner bandsaws. I've got two of those. This is the metal one. There is my Craftsman bandsaw, which is just for aluminium. And somewhere back there is another bandsaw. There. That's another Walker Turner bandsaw, which is on the wood side of the shop. Now these, boy, I fell in love with these. These are drill presses from the 40s, 50s, I'm not sure, made by Dunlap for Craftsman. I now have 7 of them. My Beverly shear. A lot of this vehicle will be shaped with a bowling ball, so when people ask, how did you make that? I'll tell them, well, a lot of it was done with a bowling ball. And my shrinking stump. This thing, I love this thing. This is a vintage 1940s Blackhawk hydraulic cart that I was in the process of restoring, but then I had to use it. I'll get rid of all the rust eventually. This is the grille of the Starfield Speedster. If you can picture this, picture these separated by about 1/4 of an inch, so the whole thing is much wider than that to let air flow through. In fact, this is 1/2 of it. So if you imagine this on both sides, that's going to be the grill for the front of the Starfield Speedster. So there we go. Thanks for watching all the way through. Oh, by the way, if the only way this is going to get built is if I sell more of my Big Banana Car children's books. And thank you, Diane Lang. She was absolutely fantastic. I posted a video about this. She knew that I hadn't given any banana car rides this year, and so she paid for 1,000 books for me. So I have Banana Car children's books available. If you would like one, just find them online, bigbananacar.com. And that is how I'm going to fund the Starfield Speedster. So I'd love this to be ready. If I can figure out how to heat this, my part of this barn, I'd like to have that ready next year. Thanks for watching. Bye. I just showed this video to somebody, and of everything that I just talked about, they focused on that, my little mouse trap, and were kind of asking me about it. A little bit disconcerted, knowing who I am. I have mice in the shop, and I don't want them eating the electrics inside my welder and running up my trouser leg while I'm trying to weld. That's never happened, but it might well. So to nip it in the bud, I've made this little mouse trap. But I don't do what people normally do, which is put water in it so the mice drown. I couldn't ever do that. I couldn't bear to do that. So I've put a very thin coating of vegetable oil on the bottom so that their little feet get all slippy and they can't jump out. And then I come and find them in the morning, and I take them way out into the backfield and let them go. But this is covered in, I don't know what this is, some kind of chocolate sauce like Nutella or something. And they step onto here, and then they fall down into the bucket. And as you can see from the mouse droppings, I've already caught a few. But the thought of killing mice just gives me the screaming abdabs. So if you saw that and thought, he's a murderer, no, I could never do that.